Today we're going to be installing the Berg Peaks 2-winch lift kit for the steel suspension 958. I reached out to Berg Peaks about this lift kit due to the ease of installation and also the price. I wanted to do something different, something that I hadn't really seen too much, and I'm really glad that I
I use Loctite. The instructions didn't say to use Loctite. I just couldn't imagine putting these on without it.
Now, I haven't really worked on anything as new or as nice as my Cayenne, so I wanted to get a second pair of eyes and a different set of hands in case I was going to break something or mess some sensor up. So I had Kyle come over. He's my neighbor. He's a handyman by trade and lives and works over here in the West Valley. So if anybody needs a handyman, Kyle's a great option, and I really appreciate the time he spent helping me out with all this.
Alright, so according to the instructions here, it says that the clamshell gets on the strut. It says that they find it easiest to tighten the 8 bolts in a small increments and a start or cross pattern, and then first until they're snug and then tighten firmly is what it says. There's no torque or anything there. And then it says that once that's on there, then we'll insert the larger bolt right in there and the hole and the spacer. We're going to insert the 90mm bolt through the large hole in the spacer. So that's the one that the kit comes with. And we're going to reuse our OEM bolt for the actual spindle.
Do you mean to say that?
Whatever it is. I actually don't know what maybe like hub. I don't know. I'm used to front axles. I don't know what this thing is. Anyways, we're going to do it on that, and then it'll work, and everybody's going to be a lot happier, especially this car, because the front skid plate is not happy with me. You're doing so good, Jetson.
I do think this for the circle.
Yeah, you are. So it's funny because right now it's only like 96 out, but because it's like so humid, it feels so disgusting outside. I'd rather be out here in like 110 and no humidity as opposed to this. Dude, good job.
Let's do the tires.
Yeah, we got to do the tires, man. All right. Hey, I think your motorcycle needs work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. What do you have to do to it?
I have to fix it.
Yeah. Do you need help fixing it, or do you got it?
I need to.
Yeah. I can help you, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dad, that was sort of cool. It's right here. This fits right there. So awesome.
That is so awesome, isn't it?
We're on. We'll call it this. Good pop. Pop. Like these tools.
What are those tools?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tools that we're using.
What is that?
What's what? That blue thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's Loctite. You don't want to touch that.
It's okay then. I can't fix the car.
You can. Sure can, dude. I believe in you. Alright, so that's where we're at so far. All I did, because I kept that wheel on the ground, because I figured it'd be a good anchor point, but tie down, and then just to wrap it around there, then wrap it around the other shock, just to pull this one to where I wanted. And then I would jack this up, and then I would try to make sure that this stays out, so that way the spacer wasn't lifting this wheel hub. And really didn't take long. It's been about 10 minutes, so gotta just make sure that that is correct. Run the bolt through there, and yeah. I'm sorry. I had to call them the professionals. It was above my pay grade. So now we got Kyle here. That's a sick work truck.
I don't know how professional. We'll go with that though.
There we go. Alright, so we got the rear done. I was expecting that to be able to really see it unless I was really looking for it. But it actually made a lot of a difference. So hopefully the front goes just as well. Kyle's down there, he's getting the other side lifted up. We're gonna get the wheel off, get the bottom looked at. I am going to work on getting the top of the shock disconnected and we'll go from there.
The front spacers are a little bit more difficult to install, but still very easy. It does not require taking apart the coil, which is the biggest plus. You simply add the supplied bolts into their captive little housing into the spacers. That allows them to not spin when tightening up the bolts into the top of the car to connect the coil to the car. You put the spacer on top of your OEM coil. There's holes for the bolts that are on the coil to travel through. You tighten on those nuts on top, and then the bolts that come from the spacer will go through the slots on the car, and then you tighten the bolts from there. So the hardest part would be to disconnect the upper control arm, giving you enough room, and then of course your stabilizer bar. Once those two are connected, you should have enough room to pull that down. However, on the passenger side, Kyle did have to lower down the cradle just a little bit to give him just a little bit extra room. Other than that, it was fairly straightforward. And again, this whole install took us a little over 4 hours or 3.5. So still very simple and quite easy.
Stuff to our cars, right? So, like, oh, I'll put this here, it'll be out of the way. Nope. It'll come back to catch us sooner or later.
Eventually.
Aftermarket wiring for the lights, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you dare. Can I get to this one? Oh, hey. I want to push the button, not the car.
All right.
Wow.
That's his favorite. That was inches from my face.
That was interesting to watch.
That went far.
Watch out, Bubba. I'm gonna put this over here real quick. That thing was moving.
Wow.
That one came out with a vengeance.
Oh shit. That's scary. So the top of the shock is right underneath the fuel filter. So there's 3 10mm bolts holding this up. Just gotta zip them out, pull this guy, move it off to the side, move the intake, hose off, and then this is just taken off too, so it's just loose. Get this moved out of the way, give us access to the bolts. I removed this thing on top of where the strut bolts in, which is right there. So you can see the strut bolts there, and then this just sat on there, and it was just like 4 10mm bolts, so easy peasy. I could take off that, but I'm just gonna leave it until I know I need to. Yeah, we're chilling. Now let's go watch Kyle.
I'm kind of learning as I go here. I know we have instructions, but who reads those? I've got the upper ball joint pulled out. I have not loosened the axle nut. I don't think I need to loosen the axle nut. I do, however, need to get the ABS sensor off. So there's an Allen wrench back behind here, or an Allen bolt, sorry, Allen wrench. So I'll have to take that off. The sway bar is unhooked right now. So right now I just try not to put too much tension on this. The brake line, I don't think I need to move the brake line. I think there's enough play here. It's not tight. And all I gotta do, it's actually loose up here. I just need to get it down low enough at this point to get the spacer in there and get the nut. It'd be easier to take the bolt out, remove the strut, put the spacer on, and pop the strut back in. I just don't know if that's gonna be worth it or not. So I'm thinking if I put these like this, and this isn't a for sure thing, we're skipping a few steps here. And that few steps may be the difference between it working and not. I may have to take and drop it down a lot more to make it work. But if I can get it lined back up with those in the way that they are, then I can potentially save myself a couple of steps. You just have to figure out what order you need them in to get them to actually take on the car side. And this thing is just a tight enough fit. I can make this work, and I don't know how much time I'm saving myself in reality. I mean, I may be making this much more work than it really needs to be. I just gotta get it popped back up. I keep saying but. I wish it was that easy. There we go. Let's get it to rotate. This is where having those bolts in there isn't helping me because they're getting caught and everything. There we go. Nice. Okay. So whenever it's not the best to jack them up off the rotors, right? We already know that. But if you put a jack under them, as long as you pay attention to your dust shield right here, if you tweak it a little bit, you always have to kind of bend that away. I mean, I'm not trying to jack the whole car up off this, I'm just trying to put the suspension back together. Sometimes you can put the jack like right under the ball joint, but if they've got a grease fitting, or if it's like all rounded like this, the jacks will slip. So it just kind of depends on the car where you're going to put your jack. Be mindful of the parts that you're putting stress on, obviously.
Dang, look at you, Kyle.
And that's that. We'll tighten it up, tighten everything up, and this side will be done.
This is what's left of my front skid plate here. As you can see, this whole middle part is all gone, and pretty chewed up. So yeah, that part's all gone. So that's all really what I got left is right there, and then this part here. So yeah. All right, so that's almost all put together, and that's how she. Oh, you can't see that at all, can you? So yeah, you can see that's how she looks like. Pretty nice. I got that huge leak of my front main seal I gotta do. I got the parts today, so that'll be the next thing we tackle eventually.
That's right. Sell yourself out, Anthony. Until then, I just add oil.
How would you rate this job on a scale from 1 to 10?
This one's actually not that bad. Really, the hardest part to this is actually getting the spacers in. I did have to loosen the cradle up a little bit. So there's one bolt back here, right here. There's one right here. And I just loosened those two bolts up. That gave me the extra 1/4 inch or so I needed to be able to put the spacer in without taking the strut all the way out. So, I guess to answer your question, the short version is I'd say it's probably like a 6 or a 7. You have to know what you're doing, but it's not like the end of the world.
That's cool. I didn't realize that.
So there's worse jobs, definitely. I would say having to do like control arms on this, because this has upper and lowers. This is kind of like the Toyota style where they've got the upper control arm and the strut. You have to break the suspension all the way apart. It's not just pull the strut out. You're supposed to get in alignment when you do struts anyway, but most people don't. That's really the complicated part. It's just how they designed it. It's just German engineering at its finest for them.
Alright, so we got, Kyle got that in there.
I gotta tighten up the cradle still, but cradle and sway bar and link, and it's done.
Woohoo! Good job, Kyle.
Hey.
So we're done with that install, and it took about 4 hours. It's 7:30 now, start around 3:30, and it went really easy. It was way easier than I thought. I did that one rear by myself, and I just, like I showed you, just ran that ratchet strap to pull it, then just jack on the other end, and that was it. And you're gonna spend a little time playing with it, making sure you get it right where you want it, but really not hard. And if I can do that, you can do that, I promise you. I've rebuilt, I've spent a lot of time working on cars, and I've done a lot of things, but I'm by no means good at any of it. So if you're looking for a lift kit that you can install where you don't really need a whole lot of experience and nothing really more than basic hand tools, this is a very good option for you. The only thing that I'm going to say is, because of this spring kit relies on your OEM suspension, if your suspension is clapped, you're still gonna have a clapped suspension after the install. If you are looking to do some very rigorous travel, and you have the dough to spend, I would definitely look at coilovers and just getting a whole new lift kit. I wanted to do something different. I reached out to Berg Peaks. I just saw one video about the Berg Peaks lift, and that was really it. And there are other lift kits in which you have to actually take apart the coil, so that way you could put the spacer on. This is very nice. We didn't have to take apart the coil. We just had to push it down, get the spacer in there, and the way that they're engineered, the bolts won't spin. So you could just push it right back in, get the bolts done on the top after you tighten them, and then that's it. It was very simple. I was expecting this to be a much more in-depth install, but it really ended up being very simple. So I'm a dad, so I have kids, and I don't have the ability to just work on stuff by myself anymore, especially when my wife's away and it's just me and the kids, because I need to be able to watch them too. So having Kyle come over and help me while I was able to multitask with the kids and the car was a huge help. And if you guys are looking for a handyman in the Valley, Phoenix, check out Kyle. He does great work. And even though he jokes a lot, he does actually do a very good job, and he does know exactly what he's doing. So yeah. So I reached out to Berg Peaks. I did not get the suspension free. I did pay for it. They did give me a small discount, but 5% isn't going to be anything that's going to sway my opinion or my honesty on it. I can't give you my opinion on the actual lift yet because I haven't used it. We installed it, I came in, took a shower, and that's about it. I drove it to the front yard. It does feel higher up, obviously, but it doesn't feel any different. And I guess that's the selling point to the suspension, is you're retaining a lot of how the car feels originally. Myself, I love the way my Cayenne drives, especially because I live in Phoenix, so I have at least an hour and a half of driving through winding roads to get to somewhere where I want to go off-roading in order for me to actually go camping. So sacrificing the on-road feel in order to have a better off-road feel for me, it's kind of 50-50. Jetson doesn't do too well in the car. He gets pretty car sick, so I don't really want to make it like the Land Cruiser where you feel every turn, because it won't work well for him. And the whole idea behind having this car is to have something that we can take quickly and efficiently to just go camping, not to be a whole dedicated off-roader. For a stock rig, I have pushed this thing pretty hard, enough to where my skid plate, as you see, was already almost gone. So it definitely looks better for sure. I'm not really sold on the way my Cayenne looks. Now that it's lifted up a little bit, it's starting to kind of shine to me a little bit. So that was a nice change because it was really bothering me. If you have a 958 Cayenne and you want to lift it just a little bit so that way you can fit some bigger tires, or maybe you just want a little bit of lift kit to see maybe if you want to try off-roading the Cayenne, I think that this is a great option. It's not the most expensive lift on the market by any means, and the ease of installation, I hope that you guys have seen, really make it a really good contender. All the other options I've seen, you have to remove everything, all the shocks, in order to place everything in there. But the clamshell design, being able to keep the shock installed, just put it back on, put the part on and put it back together, that was the easiest lift I've ever done. That was insane, and I'm really happy with it. So
I'll do an update in probably around 6 months to let you guys know how it's worked out, if anything backed off or anything like that. But of course I put blue Loctite on all the bolts, so that way trying to mitigate anything like that. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate all the support, and I hope they all have a great day, and thank you for watching.